Fire has been reported in an industrial building. The access road must be closed. Start fighting the fire. The access road must be closed. A water pipe has burst in a residential building. Turn off the water and pump the basement truck. A group of onlookers has gathered at the scene of the incident. Has been reported involving a public bus. The bus driver is trapped and needs to be rescued. Several people have minor injuries. Several people were seriously injured and require medical attention. Police Patrol Car 34 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. The crowd was successfully brought under control. The assigned emergency services cannot complete the task reconnaissance and are waiting for new instructions. Police Patrol Car 3 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. Police Patrol Car 8 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. The water was turned off. Police Patrol Car 36 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. The fire has spread and must be extinguished. The bus is losing fuel. The bus engine caught fire. The accident site was successfully secured. Gasoline is leaking from one of the tanks. The bus driver was freed and requires medical attention. Police Patrol Car 12 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. Further damage was prevented. The assigned emergency services cannot complete the task gasoline leak and are waiting for new instructions. The engine was successfully extinguished and prevented from spreading. The injured have received medical treatment. A burglary was reported at a residential building. The perpetrators gained entry through the patio door. Evidence must be secured and a report filed. The leaking fuel has been successfully removed. The injured bus driver received medical attention. Now the witnesses must be questioned. The damage caused must be documented. The witness statements were recorded. The persons have received medical treatment. The damages were documented. The fire has been successfully extinguished. The fire has been reported at a gas station. There is a high risk of explosion. The fuel pumps should be cooled to prevent an explosion. There are still several people in the gas station shop who need to be rescued. The danger zone must be completely cleared. The leaking fuel has been successfully removed. The forensic team has arrived and is beginning to collect the evidence at the scene. The fuel pumps were cooled to prevent an explosion. Witnesses should be questioned about the cause of the fire. The fire in the gas station shop was successfully extinguished. The damage must be recorded. A group of onlookers has gathered at the scene. Several rescued persons require medical attention. One person with minor injuries was rescued. The report has been filed. Fingerprints were found that can be matched against the database. Treatment. One person needs to be taken to the hospital. An armed person is barricaded in an apartment. The danger zone has been cleared. The rescued person, who was slightly injured, received medical attention. Police Patrol Car 5 has arrived at additional tasks and is awaiting instructions. The crowd was successfully brought under control. taken out at a commercial livestock farm. Several sections of the barn are affected, posing a danger to the animals and nearby buildings. Person is in the apartment. Decide whether to storm the apartment or negotiate with the perpetrator first. Due to the commotion on the farm, several animals have escaped from the barn. Secure the area with police officers. The perpetrator refuses to negotiate and ignores all contact attempts. On the street and is not breathing. The perpetrator was successfully arrested. The fire has been successfully extinguished. And the animals were recaptured. The injured person has received medical treatment. Attention, slippery roads. Poor weather conditions can lead to more accidents. We've received multiple calls about an accident at an intersection involving multiple vehicles. Send officers to check the situation and direct traffic. been treated. One of the vehicles caught fire. Extinguish it before it spreads. Roads must be closed to prevent further accidents. One of the drivers is in respiratory distress. Medical attention is urgently required. The injured person has received medical treatment. One person needs to be taken to the hospital. The fire has been successfully extinguished. Traffic is now blocked. Diesel and oil are leaking from the truck. Traffic accident involving multiple vehicles has occurred at a busy intersection. The accident site needs to be secured. The leaking fuel has been successfully removed. Fuel is leaking from an accident vehicle and needs to be removed. The driver of the car is trapped and must be freed from the vehicle using a cutter and a spreader. The leaking fuel has been successfully removed. The witnesses must be questioned about the circumstances of the accident. Several people were injured in the accident and require medical assistance. The person is seriously injured and needs to be treated by an emergency doctor. The witness statements were recorded. Has occurred at an industrial plant and hazardous material is leaking from a container. The container must be sealed and the site decontaminated. The injured person has received medical treatment. One person needs to be taken to the hospital. An injured driver in shock is attempting to flee. The driver's escape was successfully prevented. A heist has been reported at the museum. Observe the situation to determine the next step. Several vehicles have been reported for illegal street racing. There are still people inside the building who are now locked in an office. The hazardous material was contained and the people were rescued. Good work. Slippery surface caused by an oil spill was reported at an intersection. Question the witnesses who observed the illegal street racing. Arrest the drivers of the located vehicles. The oil spill has been successfully cleaned up. Witnesses of the crime have been successfully interviewed. The drivers has been successfully arrested. Situation has been observed, and the report was determined to be a prank call. Concerned residents reported cries for help coming from a neighboring apartment. Is reported missing after a front door was left open. Gather information from the parents to determine the next step. The cries for help from an apartment on the first upper floor were confirmed. The emergency services must gain access to the apartment. Damage caused by the deployment must be recorded. Access to the apartment was gained and an injured person was found. Emergency Ambulance 9 has arrived at medical emergency behind closed doors and is awaiting instructions. Police Patrol Car 3 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. A hedge has caught fire and must be extinguished before the fire spreads. The damage was documented. The injured person has received medical treatment. One person needs to be taken to the hospital. Are not certain that the child left the house. Choose where you'd like to start the search. A neighboring tree also caught fire. The fire has been successfully extinguished. The toddler was not located in the house, and a neighborhood search must now be performed. The fire has been successfully extinguished. Police Patrol Car 1 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. Police Patrol Car 36 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. Police Patrol Car 38 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. Neighbors report hearing cries for help coming from an elderly person in a nearby apartment. Speak with the caller and locate the apartment. Police Patrol Car 11 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. The toddler was successfully located wandering the neighborhood and has no injuries. However, an investigation into child endangerment must now be performed. No evidence of child endangerment was discovered. The parents have been given child safety advice to prevent future incidents. A burglary has been reported in a residential building. The suspected perpetrator is still in the area around the building. Several residents witnessed the incident and should be interviewed. The door is locked and must be opened by the fire department using specialized equipment. Attention heat wave. High temperatures lead to more health problems. The person found has sustained minor injuries from a fall and also appears to be somewhat disoriented due to dehydration. They require basic medical care. A medical emergency was reported on a public bus. The person should be transferred to the ambulance so that the bus can continue on its route. The person has received medical treatment. The person was taken to the ambulance and should now receive medical treatment. The perpetrator was successfully arrested. The person has received medical treatment. The witness statements were recorded. Attention, major incident. A fire has broken out on a regional train. Multiple injuries are expected. First, stop all rail traffic. During a doctor's appointment, a patient suddenly lost consciousness. Turn off the power and ground the overhead line so that emergency personnel can safely work on the train. Onlookers have gathered at the station. Ensure that they do not hinder rescue efforts. Decide how to proceed. Extinguishing the fire directly inside the train is faster, but poses a higher risk for the emergency services. Extinguishing the fire from outside is safer, but can lead to more civilian injuries. station is secured and the onlookers are under control. The injured person has received medical treatment. Check the train for any remaining embers. Several people with minor injuries were rescued and require medical attention. An ember was discovered on the train. Extinguish the fire. The fire has been successfully extinguished. Slightly injured persons received medical attention. 3 people need to be taken to the hospital. Fire in the kitchen of an apartment building. The stairwell is filled with smoke and one person is missing. There are still some residents trapped above the apartment where the fire broke out and need to be evacuated. Explore the surroundings and provide feedback to the control center. A cat is stuck in a tree and needs to be rescued. The fire has been extinguished. Begin investigating the cause of the fire. The residents were successfully evacuated. A group of onlookers has gathered. There is still one person inside the apartment. The rescue rescued person requires urgent medical attention. The caller reported a vehicle that had repeatedly crossed the middle line. The caller is still at the scene and can identify the driver. The injured person has received medical treatment. One person needs to be taken to the hospital. The cat has been rescued. An onlooker has become aggressive and must be arrested. The onlooker was successfully arrested. Roof tiles are threatening to fall onto the street in a residential building. Eliminate the hazard as quickly as possible. The smell of alcohol is detected on the driver's breath. A breathalyzer test must be administered. Blood alcohol level of 1.2 was recorded. The driver must be arrested. Police Patrol Car 12 has stopped traffic control due to employee exhaustion and is returning to base. A teenager has become stuck in a baby swing. Observe the situation and decide how to free them. Concerned residents reported cries for help coming from a neighboring apartment. Choose to use either the Halligan tool or the Jaws of Life to pry the swing apart. The cries for help from an apartment on the first upper floor were confirmed. The emergency services must gain access to the apartment. The hazard has been eliminated. The teenager has been successfully freed from the baby swing using the Jaws of Life. Ambulance 2 has arrived at medical emergency behind closed doors and is awaiting instructions. The damage caused by the deployment must be recorded. Access to the apartment was gained and an injured person was found. damage was documented. An armed person is barricaded in an apartment. The injured person has received medical treatment. One person needs to be taken to the hospital. Apartment. Decide whether to storm the apartment or negotiate with the perpetrator first. The perpetrator surrendered after negotiations. Attention, slippery roads. Poor weather conditions can lead to more accidents. Involving a public bus. The bus driver is trapped and needs to be rescued. Several people have minor injuries. Several people were seriously injured and require medical attention. Minor accident occurred while parking. The damage must be documented and witnesses must be interviewed. The accident site was successfully secured. The bus is losing fuel. The bus engine caught fire. The bus driver was freed and requires medical attention. The engine was successfully extinguished and prevented from spreading. The leaking fuel has been successfully removed. injured have received medical treatment. 2 people need to be taken to the hospital. The injured bus driver received medical attention. Now the witnesses must be questioned. The damage caused must be documented. A heavily intoxicated man is reported on the street, harassing pedestrians and damaging property. The witness statements were recorded. The persons have received medical treatment. The witness statements were recorded. The damages were documented. The damages were documented. A tree is blocking a road and needs to be removed. During a doctor's appointment, a patient suddenly lost consciousness. The perpetrator was successfully arrested. The tree has been successfully removed and the road is clear again.